These are some of my favorite Adobe Illustrator shortcuts, which will help you make simple graphics without a lot of hassle. And they're things that you'll use over and over and over again if you use Adobe Illustrator. So here's just a quick guide.
Yes, in answer to the question I get a lot, I do make my own figures. I use Adobe Illustrator. A free alternative is Inkscape. I've used that a bit in the past, but then I got access to Illustrator through school and I started learning it. And unfortunately, it's pretty expensive. So hopefully you have access through your institution. If not, you'll have to decide if it's an investment you want to make or if you just want to check out Inkscape. But these are some of the key things in Illustrator, some key shortcuts that'll help you get the most out of it without having to worry about all the bells and whistles. So by no means a comprehensive guide, but some of my favorite shortcuts. So let's start with just selecting, simple selecting. This is going to be your black arrow. You can get to it by pressing V or selecting over here. Now, when I click on an object, I'm clicking on an entire object. If I want to click on an individual anchor point, so one of these points that I can adjust, what I did was I pressed A. A is going to get me this direct select tool. And now I can click on these individual points. We can talk about grouping objects later. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if I'm on V, so I'm on the select tool, now I'm selecting a group. And if I press A, now I can select individual things within the group. So either if I press in the center of a part, I can click on that whole part. And then if I want to move it as an object, I can press B and select within the group. Or if I wanted to just click and move an individual anchor point, I could do that just by using A. Now I'm going to go back to V. So we're selecting whole objects. Say I want to select multiple objects and maybe group them together. In order to select multiple objects, what you have to do is you have to press Shift when you're hold down Shift while you're clicking them. So I just click on object 1, hold down Shift, click on object 2, hold down, keep holding it down and click on object 3. Now I have these three selected. And say I want to group them together so that I can move them as one independent unit. Now what I can do is I can press Command G. This is going to make these a group. So if I use my direct select tool, I'm selecting the whole group. If I want to ungroup them, I just do Shift Command G. Now they're ungrouped and I can move them individually again. What if I want to copy? So you can use simple copy and paste just like you would in any other program. Command C to copy and Command V to paste. But you can see that it pasted it all the way over here. What if I wanted to paste it in place? Now I can do this using Command F, which is super duper handy. So if I do Command C to copy, Command F, well, now I've copied it in place. And this is really helpful because then if I want to keep things in line and that sort of thing, basically you can press Shift when you're sliding an object or moving it, and it'll set it to distinct angles. So I could keep things like sliding. If I shifted down when I was holding it, I could keep it so that these were in line. And you can align things through the align tools as well, but I'm not going to go into them here. Now, say we have objects that are overlapping. So we have these three objects that are overlapping. What if we want to change the ordering? So what's in front and what's in back and things like this. We can do this simply using commands and plus and minus these like brackets. So say I want to move this tan one backwards. I want to move it behind this purpley one, but in front of the blue. What I could do is I do command and then this left bracket, and that'll move it behind this one. And if I press that again, I can move it all the way back. Now I can do the opposite to move it forward. So here I'm doing command right bracket and command right bracket. I could do, if I want to move it all the way to the back, I don't have to go through those two steps. Instead, I could do command shift, left bracket to get it all the way back, command shift, right bracket to get all the way back to the front. One of the other really helpful tools is going to be your eyedropper. So you can just get the eyedropper over here, or you can get it by pressing I. And what this is going to do is it's going to copy the format. So say I decided I don't want to make this tan. I want this to be purple as well. What I could do is I could go and I can select on that tan one. Now I can press I, it's going to give me this eyedropper, and I can click on the object I want to mimic, copy its style. Depending on how you set up the preferences, you can have it copy like just the color, you can have it copy the stroke as well, various things like this. So the fill color, the stroke color, we'll also see that it's going to work with text. So basically whatever item you click on, it's going to then mimic the format of that item. So this also works with text. So if you have text that's in so this is all one line of text. And so if I just click this whole line and then I eyedrop and I make it like this, now it's going to change all of this text to what this was. I can undo this by doing Command Z, and you can also redo by doing Command Shift Z, just like you would in any other program. Say I decided that I don't want the demo text to be bold. What I can do is I can actually just select that text. And now it's going to be confusing because you can't really do the, if you press I, it's going to put an I in, like, because you're in text mode. So you can just click on the eyedropper tool and click on the text that you want to change. And if you want to get like out of a text box, I find the easiest way is just to press escape. And if you want to get into text mode, then you press T. Okay, so we did this. We kind of covered Command Z, which is undo, Command Shift Z, redo. What if we want to lock something? So say that I want to make it so that I'm going to make this, I want this part to stay here and then move the others around it for some reason. What I could do is I could basically click on this object. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Command 2. Now I've locked this object, but I can still move these. So I can move these objects around this. If I want to unlock it, then what I can do is I can just do Option Command 2, and now I've unlocked it. If I want to zoom in or out, the easiest way is just with your mouse pad or with your mouse. But what you could also do is you can do Command and then the plus symbol to zoom in, or Command and then the minus symbol to zoom out. So one word of caution, Command plus is going to zoom you in, but if you just do plus, that's basically going to add an anchor point, not zoom you. So if you press P, this is going to give you this line drawer point tool thing where basically you just click on points and drag and you can get these lines. Now, if I want to add a point onto these lines, I can press the plus symbol, and this is going to allow me to add a point onto an existing line. And then if I do Command plus, then that zooms you in. Then a couple final ones. So Command Y, this is going to show you outlines. So if you want to see the outlines of the various things, sometimes if you have overlapping things, this can be really helpful. And if you press Command H, this is going to show or hide edges. So here you can see that I've clicked on this and I can see these individual anchor points and things like this. If I do Command H, now those are going to disappear when I'm just like hovering over. And so this, you might get confused sometimes. You're like, where did my anchor points go? It's probably because you've accidentally pressed Command H. So just press Command H again, and those will bring you back. So those are some of the basic Illustrator shortcuts. I have a more comprehensive guide to Illustrator, as well as other videos that I will post links to, as well as an uploadable version of this shortcut list. Again, this is not comprehensive, but these are just some of them that'll help you get the most function out of Illustrator without too much hassle to make basic figures and things like this. If you want to become an expert on Illustrator, that's going to take a really, really long time. I am by no means an expert, but I know enough to get things done. And so hope this helps you too.